All right, guys. So some of you have sent me messages. You've been worried about these Nearpod lessons. You've been concerned that you can't complete it in one setting, and you're afraid that it doesn't keep track of your responses. So you are correct in the fact that these Nearpod lessons are honestly designed to, in one setting, you start and complete them. A lot of you are having no problems with that. That's great. But some of you, maybe you're having internet problems. Some of you, you have other things going on. For whatever reason, you have to stop. And then once you go back into it, you're afraid that your progress hasn't been saved. So this is all a learning curve for each and every one of us. So here's what we're going to do. Number one, I want you to see my end of it. So when I go into my teacher Nearpod doc, this is what I see. Okay, so when I want to go and I want to get your results and see how you've done, I go down here and I click on this little window or this little icon that says reports. And then once I click on reports, I go to the individual lessons. So the first one that we have is Congress in a Flash. So I bring this one up, and there's 133 students that have at one point or another logged in. Now you're saying there's not 133 of us in the eighth grade. That's because some students have logged in numerous times. Now I don't want to click on this because I don't want you to be able to see other students' progress. But what I did was I went in and I want to show you how I'm grading these, and I want to try to ease some fear for you. Okay, so this is an actual screenshot of that report. Now, I've blocked out the student names, so you can't see the student names, but let's just say student A and student B. So student A logged in, and the very first time student A completed 100% of all of the activities, including this one right here, is the little test that is in there. They got a 100% on that test. So this little number over here represents their participation, how much of the Nearpod lesson they went through. So that first Nearpod lesson is worth 100%, is worth 25 points. So 100% of 25 points obviously is 25 points. So this student here earned a 100%. Now, student B. Student B, for whatever reason, I don't know why, and it's fine, student B wasn't able to complete the entire thing in one setting. So you notice student B went in two different times. Now, student B was careful to put their first and last name in there both times so I can make sure I tie them together. But student B, the first time, didn't do any of the first activity, but the second time they logged in, they did 100% of that activity. They're good to go there. The second activity, the first time they logged in, they did 40% of it. The second time they logged in, they did 60% of it. They're good to go there. The test that was in there, student B honestly didn't do very hot on that test. They're really going to want to go back and review that because at the end of these 3 weeks, you are going to have a test over all three of these Nearpod units. So student B really needs to go back in and look at this and brush up on this. But student B did complete the test that was in there. Last but not least, the first time student B logged in, they did 50% of the last activity. They did 50% of the second activity. So once again, here's participation. Student B, the first time participated, interacted with 25% of the lesson. The second time, they interacted with 75% of the lesson. I add these together. Student B gets a 100% also. Now, if you look down here, some of these students, this student, for instance, only participated with 25% of the assignment. They didn't do any of the first one. They only did 60% of the second one. They didn't do any of the test, and they only participated with 25% of the last little assignment that's in this first Nearpod lesson. So their grade, I'm going to take that 25 points and multiply that by 25%. Their grade's not going to be very hot. Their grade is going to be 100%, 100%, 100%, 88% of 25, 6% of 25 points. That's how grades are going to be calculated for this first round of Nearpod lessons. So These Nearpod lessons were designed for you to go in and to start and complete them in one setting. But for some of you that are struggling with that, there is an alternative. No worries. You can still get your grade. Just make sure you're putting your first and last name over here. Make sure I can see that it's the same person, and that overall you still have to participate with every single slide. You have to interact with every single slide. All of the activities you have to complete if you want to get that 100%. If you have any questions, any comments, please leave them in the comments spot below. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.